Welcome back, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Primetime Sportz. I'm your host, Justin Dewitt. Let's jump right into it. Now, I know you guys got a chance to enjoy homecoming, turning up and showing out all week, but now it's time to shake it off, pop open those books, and get ready for class. But don't worry, students. You guys aren't the only ones shaking off homecoming week. After that disappointing loss against Troy, Georgia State's football team bounced back against South Alabama. Reporters Caleb Johnson and David Schiele were on hand at the game.
The Panthers get their first win at Georgia State Stadium. David Schiele, Caleb Johnson with you. Final score 21-13 over South Alabama. After the game against Troy on Saturday, you said you wanted to see certain things tonight. Did you see those?
Well, not exactly, but a win is a win. And even though they did give us a little bit of grief there at the end, making it a little too close, Ari Wirtz wasn't as involved as I wanted him to be last game, but the offense was clicking. They were able to rush the ball 114 yards on the ground, and the passing game was clicking, and so I'm overall pleased.
Well, we saw Penny Hart get involved a lot more in this game,
Definitely.
As well as the rushing game, picking up especially better than last week. What are some of the highlights that you saw tonight?
Well, let's take a look at those highlights.
Georgia State playing in their second game within a week, and things get started early defensively. Off a deflection, Brian Williams with the interception, the sixth-year senior, bringing it into the red zone for the Panthers. Take another look off the deflection, the fourth interception for Brian Williams this season, and Panthers look to strike with the great field position, and they will to Glenn Smith. He'll score, and the Panthers go up early, 7-0. Take another look at the slow-mo. Glenn Smith bringing it into his body with the great grab. Defense doing great for the Panthers in this one, and that gives great field position for Connor Manning to dump over to Glenn Smith, and he'll bring it once again into the red zone for Georgia State. And then a handoff to Kyler Neal up the gut, puts the Panthers up 14-0 in the first half, where they'll go into halftime 14-3, and this game seems pretty much over. Like an offsides there, free play for Connor Manning to Penny Hart. What a grab! This one seems all but over, except when the Jags try to make a comeback with this grab and fly off to the races. Jags now down 21-13, and they will have the onside kick. And South Alabama recovers. This one could get dangerous, except, oh, it won't. The Panthers will kneel it down and win it 21-13.
Well, those are a lot of big plays for Georgia State, but next week is the big one. Georgia State, Georgia Southern. Can they keep these big plays up?
Definitely. They're going to go down into Statesboro and take on a winless Georgia Southern team who is struggling, fire their head coach. And although I know it seems like a similar story to what happened to Georgia State last year, look, there's just a different level of talent that Georgia Southern does not have, and I can't wait for this Panther team to take on the Eagles and just smoke them down in Statesboro.
All right, well, like we said, Georgia State versus Georgia Southern, the rivalry game in Statesboro next Saturday. David Schiele, Caleb Johnson for Primetime Sportz.
Thanks, guys. That win moves the Panthers a little further up the conference ladder. They now solely own the second place spot. Now, last night's game was a little closer than the game actually really was. That late touchdown pass by South Alabama was a fluke, if you ask me. Like my father used to always say, boy, even a dead clock is right twice a day. But Coach Sean Elliott says the team will enjoy this win before moving on to focus on rivals Georgia Southern. So for the moment, they're popping champagne, baby. And you know who else is popping champagne? How about the new head coach of GSU men's tennis team? Primetime Sports reporter Jasmine Presley caught up with Coach Wolf.
The men's tennis team will conclude their fall season against Wake Forest University. But not only that, we have breaking news that interim head coach Jonathan Wolf has now been offered the head coach position. Here's what he has to say about the great news.
It feels great. I feel like I'm definitely deserving of it. A lot of patience and hard work went into it. Couldn't be happier, but at the same time, I give many thanks to the support team, the guys, the former guys in the team, administration, my family, and I'm very happy to be a Panther.
Head coach Jonathan Wolf says that he's overall pleased with the team's performance at this past regionals, and going into the last tournament of the season, he knows what the team should work on and what the team will be working on going into the spring season.
I feel good. Our guys are definitely motivated for the last tournament of the fall. I'm all about getting match play in, and these guys are excited. We're coming off a pretty good regional tournament. We had almost everyone qualify for the main draw, and we had a guy who was towards the end of our lineup, lower end of the lineup, get a nice win over Miami's top recruit in straight sets, so that was always good to see. We need to be working on our doubles a little bit more tactically, some adjustments there, and still trying to figure out the pairings a little bit, but you know, we feel good going into the last tournament in a couple weeks. So.
Be on the lookout for the Panthers this spring. For Primetime Sports, I'm Jasmine Presley.
Thank you, Jasmine, and congratulations to head coach Jonathan Wolf. There's nothing better than achieving a goal that you set out for yourself. New job, new money, new me. Next time you guys see Coach Wolf, you're going to have to yell out, "What's up, big baller?" Speaking of ballers, man, basketball season is right around the corner. Here's a quick preview of a feature story that I did with one of Georgia State stars. How influential has he been on your careers, your basketball careers?
Oh, huge, man. My dad's a real quiet guy. He's not like the type to, you know, yell at you. Or, you know, he's kind of like one of my coaches. You know, he just kind of breaks everything down. So, anytime I can go to him and talk to him after a game, before the game, his prep definitely always helps me, and especially my younger brother as well. So, he's definitely a big influence. I'm the oldest one that's still playing, so I try to always set an example for my younger brother Jalen, and I'm really proud of how he's came along. Jordan is now at Duke. He was playing at Norcross while I was sitting out that year and last year. So, I mean, just trying to set an example for them first and foremost. They came to a lot of games, and you know, they got to see kind of how I was kind of struggling at first. It stayed with it, and kind of watched me coach through the end. So, I think just having their support here was big. Both of them guys just kind of really grinded out, and you know, they're both in really good situations right now.
Well, that's all we have for you guys today. Make sure you like and subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at Prime Sports with a Z. For Primetime Sports, I'm Justin Dewitt.